Hey guys, today I want to tell you about 10 items that have dramatically moved the needle for me in my motorcycle riding enjoyment experience. So let's go. The things that move the needle for you as a motorcycle rider change over time. This is true for everyone. Interests change, perspectives change, but no matter where you are in your riding journey, I think it's safe to say we're all looking for those things that make the ride all that much more enjoyable. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 10 things that have significantly increased the enjoyability of the rides at this stage in my riding career. From practical gadgets to innovative safety gear, these are all items that just might elevate your riding game to the next level. One especially toward the end, so make sure you stick around for that. But hey, you be the judge on these. Tell us all about it in the comments below. So let's jump into it. The very first and obvious one is a low wind helmet. As I started recording rides and vlogging, it became super important to me to find a low wind helmet. But you being able to hear my voice is probably the least important reason that you want to pay attention here. If you've taken long rides at highway speeds, you've probably had a night where you hopped off the bike and your ears felt really tired. Maybe they were ringing a little bit. Maybe they even hurt a little bit. Because the wind noise while you're riding at those speeds, it can be downright unpleasant. Not only that, it can be damaging to your hearing long term. The quietest helmets out there, they're going to cost you a pretty penny. And if you can afford it, go for it. You won't regret it. But if you're on a budget, earplugs are really cheap. Even really good ones like these right here. I use these from Loop. I'm not affiliated or sponsored by these guys. I really like them. They reduce just enough decibels to get you out of that danger zone while still being able to hear everything around you. And their design is such that you can pull your helmet on and off without ripping them out of your ear. Something like these little guys, it's going to make your ride so much more enjoyable. And it's going to protect your hearing. And if you use a Comm System, you can still hear it and your music just fine. Do yourself a favor, don't ignore this one. Number 2 is a good pair of riding shoes. I used to be all about the proper biker gear, and I don't mean for protection. I mean the proper cruiser bro biker gear. The leather jacket, the chunky hardcore boots. I even used to ride with one of those little minimalist half helms. Oh yeah, I admit it. I might have been a little bit of a douche back then. But hey, guess what? Heavy ass calf boots aren't comfortable to walk around in. Enter the riding shoe. Everyone in my family has converted over to riding shoes. There's so many different styles to choose from, and they still offer the same reinforced protection in all the right places. But they're also lightweight and comfortable to get off your bike and walk around in, doing whatever. It's basically like wearing a pair of high-top basketball shoes. Motorcycle Air Jordans. I can't imagine going back to clunky heavy boots again. Next is Textile Shirts. Georgia has some of the most oppressive riding weather in the country. Temps can reach triple digits in the summertime, and the majority of the year, it stays in the 80s and 90s. And on top of that, we have incredibly high humidity. So by the time you walk from your door to your bike, you feel like you just got out of the shower. Putting on a leather jacket, yeah, that's the last thing I want to do. So I took a chance on Textile Shirts, and man, in my opinion, they are really worth it. They're called shirts, but if I'm being honest here, they're really lightweight jackets. Most come with linings, tons of pockets, and level 1 pads, and some of them you can optionally upgrade to level 2. They're typically made of 10% Aramid Kevlar fabric, so they're going to protect you against the slide. And here's the kicker. They're AA rated. That's equivalent protection to leather jackets. And some of these bad boys, like the Skull Riders mesh shirt my son wears, they let a significant amount of air pass through, so I can stay protected and not sweat my private parts off. And as the theme of this video will go, that's a game changer. Number 4, for me, is mesh-backed gloves. You might be starting to see a trend here that points to comfort and temperature mitigation. And that's true of these mesh-backed gloves as well. These are my favorite gloves of all time. They're leather on the grip side, but they're mesh fabric on the back, which lets in air and heat out. So these are nice and cool and super comfortable. The only downside is that these do not have rigid knuckle protection across the back, which, let's be clear here, I'm not advocating that you don't have knuckle protection, just that I love these gloves, as imperfect as that love may be. Now, if I could find some of these gloves with palm sliders, yeah, that'd be the holy grail of gloves right there. 5 and 6, or let's call it 5, 6, and 6.5, are kind of a triple combo, which is a trickle charger, a battery tender quick access battery hookup cable, and a battery tender USB quick hookup charger. All 3 of these are kind of interrelated. I've had phases in my riding career where I didn't go ride very often, I was just focused on other things in life at the time. I rode so infrequently, in fact, that when I did decide to go ride, I often found a battery that was dead well beyond recharging. And if I wanted to go ride, it became an ordeal of ordering a new battery online, waiting for it to be delivered, or I could go down to the local retailer to buy one, then bring it home and install it before I could do anything. And during that phase, knowing that I was likely going to have to go through all of that made my riding even more infrequent. But setting up my battery on a battery tender trickle charger changed all that. And to facilitate the ease of hooking it up regularly, you want to have a quick access battery hookup cable. This is something that I now put automatically on every bike I own. And once you have that quick access cable on, you have lots of options of what you can plug in there, like a quick connect USB charger for your electronics. All three of these things move the needle individually, but together, yep, you guessed it.
Game changer.
Number 7 has become near and dear to me, but it may fall on some deaf ears out there with you guys. And that's saddlebags, specifically lockable hard bags. Maybe this one might come across a bit controversial depending on what kind of rider you are, but for me, yeah, I've fallen in love with hard bags. In my twilight years of riding, I think my Nomad has become part pack mule. I've loaded these bad boys up with hats, clothes, purses, Gatorades, cable locks, spare batteries, a tire inflator. Heck, I've even put a broken license plate in there. It's like being a Boy Scout all over again. Be prepared. When I was riding a performance cruiser for most of my riding career, I did have a little sissy bar bag that I could strap on occasionally when I absolutely needed it, but I hated it. My, how things have changed. Again, you may not be in the same place right now, but for me, hard bags are such an incredible convenience. Number 8's an obvious one, guys, and this one's another combo item. That's your phone, a mount, and a charger. This one should go without explanation, but riding with a phone on a power source that you can view navigation on, or make calls on, or listen to music on if you're using Comm System, yeah, you know what I'm going to say.
Oh, that's going to be a game changer.
And number 9 is that aforementioned Comm System. Specifically for me, the Cardo PackTalk Neo Comm System. I've used some cheapo Comm Systems in the past just to be able to chat from rider to rider, and they worked okay. They let you talk to a limited number of riders, let you listen to music, make phone calls, all that jazz. But as my riding family expanded, the mesh network and additional features you get with the Cardo systems became more and more needed. But be warned, these guys ain't cheap. Depending on the model, you're looking at $400 a pop. If you're just buying for yourself, you'll probably be okay. But I had to sell a freaking kidney to get 4 of these bad boys for my entire riding family. But even as expensive as they are, it was absolutely worth it. The quality of sound is second to none, and being able to so easily ride and talk to others and listen to and even share your music, it's...
Ooh, that's a game changer.
Yeah, it's a game changer. And at number 10, last, and maybe even actually least, it's kind of an honorable mention that I've grown quite fond of over the years, and that's a kickstand foot. It's a simple little thing that seems so insignificant and so inconsequential to most riders, but the longer I ride, the more often I find myself going to strange places and riding on strange terrain. I love knowing that no matter where I go, if I pull off to park in the sand or the dirt or the gravel or soggy wet grass, my kickstand isn't going to sink down into that and make my bike fall over while I'm off doing whatever. All right, gang, and that's 10. I can already hear what you're saying. What about an emergency toolkit? But this is not a must-have items listicle. This is a list of what has moved the enjoyment needle the most for me at this stage of my riding career. And I have to be honest, while I absolutely think you definitely should have an emergency toolkit, I've never actually needed one. I think I just jinxed myself. But there you go, gang. What items on this list resonated with you? What items have moved that enjoyment needle the most for you that maybe we missed? And maybe you think everybody in the community should know about it. Well, tell us all about it in the comments below. And guys, while you're here, make sure you check out all of our other awesome motorcycle content. Meanwhile, we'll keep bringing you along for our rides. And until then, we'll see you in the next one.
Game changer.
Game changer. I mean, game changer.